One of the reasons why I founded Thea International, that was because I wanted to give youth an opportunity to become a counterpart to the technology. And I think we need, in times of artificial intelligence, young people who are highly skilled and develop their consciousness, their awareness, and their critical thinking, to not get lost in all these new possibilities and find the orientation in that, and not get lost as well in manipulation of what we heard already. I think it was very interesting. The last presentation was as well very interesting and highlighting. I'm an international lawyer. I know exactly what you're talking about and about the risks. So thank you very much for highlighting on that. And that is actually exactly the reason why I founded the International, for giving young people the possibility to reach out the real world and to understand what's happening around them before they let technology decide about their future. So that is, I'm very touched by what I was hearing. Do I have a chance to share my presentation? Yes, I have actually. Right, if I would find it. Okay, I will be very fast, but I think it's quite, right, how can I go on the notice? So I will be quite fast, but please excuse me for not rushing too much. I'm an international lawyer, and I'm a seaside advisor since a long time for different companies in transition. So I have quite an age, and I saw a lot of transitions, and especially this now from circular to regenerative models is, I think, one of the most important transitions we all face. And yeah, I would like to be an active part in that stage of my career. And so there I founded an agency group, and I'm a first global chairwoman of circular economy, was selected by an Indian chair, by Dr. Abin Arora, and she grouped 100 women in different sectors to run the world like this and to understand the importance of diversity and gender equity in different sectors of industries and of all our life and business fields. As I founded as well quite a few initiatives around the globe, and at least as well initiatives who are very connected to the climate change and the symptoms we face. As I said in the beginning, it was not my first approach, but it developed like this because I understand more and more that we are very connected and that we are living in an interconnected world and that everything is evolutionary. I know this since I'm 10 years old, but I see that more and more important, especially because we missed a lot of possibilities to change the world in a way where we had time, and now unfortunately we find each other and each business under pressure, of course with a lot of opportunities. As a chairwoman for circular economy, but as well of the first woman-driven consultancy for circular economy and a regenerative future, we are represented in all these countries by women experts from different sectors of the circular sector. And you can see quite a few women from India and as well from Africa. And that has a reason as well with the Caribbean states, you see, in Latin America, the axis, it is because we think, and I'm pretty sure, that the shift from a linear to a circular economy will be driven there. And women will play and have to play an important role in a diverse field and in an inclusive environment. And that is something what we would like to fuel and to support. The basic question of all, and I think it doesn't matter if you come from whatever technology background, and is finally in what world we want to live. And I think this question we have to ask ourselves every day and all very often in the day before we take decisions. We all know, and I don't want to bother you with that, and we unfortunately don't have the time to discuss about this, what would be very nice. The question for me, what's coming up is circular economy, a solution for the symptoms we face. And if you have just a brief look at this graphic, you see the change people think we drive, and I'm really not. I think we face a few things quite earlier, and we don't have these 10 years. And even the number one won't be the number one in 2 years, because it is, if we not take the opportunities we have to take, then we will face really very early. If we fail the climate change adaptation, then we will face natural disasters, and that will cause war. And we face it already in different states when it is the question about geographical and geological assets and property. And that will be part of our future next to all the insecurities we face. We have another even that I would really like to discuss it more, but that needs a little bit more time as well. If you see, going back to the largest risk in the world, of course, the risks are all interconnected. And that is for you, coming from a technology background mostly, or even artificial intelligence, driving algorithm, you know everything is connected and how you build up these systems. And hopefully we come to systems that avoid and support the change we have to do, and that we are not facing and have early warning systems for not becoming unstable, like we can become if we would have a close look to all these interdependencies. So we know you're all coming from business as well, and circular economy is not a new topic for you. You know the importance of the market from the economic figures. So it's 1.8 trillion only in Europe, and 4.8 trillion by 2030. What is the anticipation of this year or last year latest? This is the fast, next to digital markets, the fast driving market, and it is as well directly connected to technology fields and the shift and the growth and that. So talking about future means, of course, transformation. I think everybody is quite, for everybody is clear that we are in a system change. And from linear to circular, that is really something a lot of people are really tired about talking about that and hearing about that. But it is still in every moment of our life present. So we did not have, or we did not take the steps locally and globally, only in small parts, but not interconnected as we should do and as we have to do in the time what is left. We see it already in the discussion. You all are on LinkedIn, you see and you follow the discussion. You may be more connected in technical bubbles, but I'm in the environmental and circular economy bubble, and everybody is talking and discussing about as well. The definition of circular economy is not clear at all. And the conservation, we have over 120 different explications and definitions of something what we think can be the key model for changing this, for driving the change we need, and we are not even clear of what we want. And I'm going a lot with this explication of conservation of resources and efficiency of resources. And for me, material is the main key. To understand the resources, to understand the basic of the resources, and to understand our own role on the planet, that is the basic role of driving the shift to an impact-driven, later on, financial model or new economies. We are dealing a lot with circular washing, and there are a few things they make it really to a solid concept, and that is material understanding, as I said. And there are a few companies coming up, and the analysis is an open field for technology. Without technology, we couldn't do these analyses and understand material to its last point of interconnection and of new redesign possibilities. Transparency and footprint journey, it's about the product development and the consumption. There's as well a big field for technology to track it, and but be aware of the digital footprints everybody left. And yeah, and then the shift from into consumption of using and reusing. Therefore, we have to change from linear. To make it possible, we have to change our principles. Before and now it's linear. We talk about efficiency. A lot of people I heard today are still talking about efficiency at the main point. A lot of solutions are problem focused, and we are still in a world what is higher and faster, because we still talk about growth and of growth measurement and return on invest, and part of your conferences as well, how we drive financials differently, and that for me is clear as impact investment and impact measurement. So changing our mindset first is to become more evolutionary, organic, and interconnected. We have to have the time, even in times where we have no time. We have to take the time to do errors and to reflect properly on every step we take, because everything is new. So if we have a flexible plan A, we need a flexible plan B, and have to be ready for that. So most of the skills have to be analytically understanding, creative, and original. That means we have to work with diverse people and have to be inclusive. And fast, it is maybe a new thing of a new understanding of efficiency, how to create value, and that needs time of observation, time of understanding. Everything what we do in the field is first understanding. We are not fast at all, otherwise we would create new problems on problems and not coming at all to a solution. And of course, impact evaluation, return on impact. That means ask yourself your question, is your product not only using the materials what you give back as a resource, so is it necessary? Do we need it? So marketing becomes a completely new phase, actually. And I don't talk about sustainable marketing because it should have been always sustainable, but I talk about of leaving it at all. And as well, here we are in artificial intelligence and all the algorithms who really take people by the hand and tell them what they have to buy. If we're really honest with a circular model, we have to get away from that. And that means as well, go in all the layers. It means a collaboration on all the different parts. So society, human being first, society. Then we go in the communities and the social systems, and we go from the social systems in the industries. From the industries, the same approach and the same transition has to take place on the country level. And then we're coming and connect that on the global level with task forces and come to regenerative and sustainability. And if you see the right side here, you see the different approach where we have been and where we would like to be and where we should be. And then to see how technology works in that. So we come from B2B, B to business, business to business, customer, change to customer to business, change to customer to community, change from community to customer, and vice versa. And therefore we need inclusive, diverse, and bottom up and top down and vice versa structures, local actions. Everything should and can be driven locally, produced locally, but with a global approach and a transparency. Because the challenges we face, they are the answers everywhere in the world, but they are not transparent. Your conference shown a lot of challenges today, and there are a lot of solutions. Without these conferences, these solutions are not visible. So what do we need? We need special skills. This is actually something I talk to youth about that, but everybody is now, we don't have these differences in future anymore. I don't know if I go now too far, but we are not having these futures, this difference anymore of talking about workforces with different ages. We will mix. I'm now working, my assistant is 14 years old. She's from India. I have 3 of them. We are not talking about that anymore. We're talking about capacities, and where's the best place for these capacities, and how do I make these skills visible that people have, that they can work on the right place and find maybe their call as well on this. And we see here it's thinking universal and to understand where we are, because the change and everything what we develop in future, it starts in our environment. I was a lot in rural Indian regions. People did not have studied there. They've been highly sophisticated in what they produce, from the handcraft, from the agricultural way. They did not learn it, but they learned it not universally. They learned it by the daily doing and by the transmission of the experiences of the people, and by trying, retrying, and seeing the result and refining. And this is actually what we face. So we come back to that way of learning, and the question is, how do we do that? So we need first a mindset that we want to understand beyond. If I talk today to young people 14 years old in Europe, and not in India, not in Africa, in Europe, they don't want to go beyond. Maybe the majority does not want to go beyond. Who really wants to understand the topic? Me, I was extremely challenged by the IE presentation we had. It was not the last one, the one before. I have not much knowledge in that. But I want to go beyond. I would like to understand that, even if I know I have not the basic skills for this. But I know, even if I have another opinion, I have to understand what it means. And it takes time, because I don't understand it in the very first moment. And this time I have to take and to ask questions to ask the right questions. I will see it in the end if that was the right question, and to learn to connect the dots. If we work mostly in education and we take this responsibility away from the kids and give them too early digital help and digital devices, they won't connect the dots. They never learn thinking by their own. They will be dependent. We will create a dependent generation. That is the same question. Is that the world we want to live in and our kids to have there? We have to find the limits. Youth have to find the limits, but everybody who's setting up a business, every day, learn to fall and how to get up, and to understand the mistake of something learning. Everybody's saying that since a long time, but now it becomes urgent because the periods are shorter. We fall faster and we have to get up faster. Try error in a very short time. And this is one of the most important things of to think how to develop ourselves, staying inspirational, be curious, build relationships. That is already something young people can't do anymore, because they find themselves in technology bubbles, in digital bubbles of their social media. Judgment free, that means my learning is everywhere. If I talk today to somebody who is sitting next to me on the bench, he or she can have a message for me. I don't cut the talk easily. I'm aware of the experiences of other people and take that in my personal learning. And that means as well diversity. Connect to people who are different. Even if that is not the idea of my life, it doesn't matter. And learning from the inside to the outside means every change happens inside first. Everything what I have first and I would like to have to change, I have to do it first by myself. And then I become an example, and then it goes in the outside. And there we will see if this works and how we can make it working together. This is actually what we have in all our programs. We try to translate the wisdom and the tradition of nature and of cultures into innovation. And a lot of people are not aware anymore of their traditions. I can speak of the countries where I'm traveling to, and I can speak of my own country. A lot of innovations in the production fields are not possible anymore because people don't know about the machines, they don't know about the methods, and they don't know about the materials. And that is a KO criterion for the circular economy and for a regenerative future. In other countries, maybe we find that, and we have to present that. This is just an example how we build up the skills and how we are aware when we build up teams in mind maps and as well as later on in the systems to understand the capacity of everybody and to build up the best teams at the fast time. Of course, technology does that much faster today, but this is how we do that and how we can do that because we are financially limited. The examples coming from the field, this was sustainable fashion in India. This was in the Himalaya. Young people go there and learn about the nature and make their experience there and reflect on their experiences. The biggest point today is you can do a volunteering, you can have a volunteering, you can have an internship in a company, but you don't connect the dots. For this, you need somebody who helps you with that. And this is a reflection pathfinder. We had a trainer concept for this. These are people that are nearly invisible, but they reflect regularly on the learnings and on the experiences without judgments with the youth, so that they can integrate that in their personal learning experiences and their personal career path development. Whatever we do in different parts of the different countries and in our different projects, we try to transfer that into school programs. That was still a time where we could go to schools and where schools have been open. It was in Germany. And we had as well a lot of programs with body contact and meditation, and you can't see it properly on the pictures, unfortunately, but you see that young people, at least in that generation, are mostly not used to touch themselves anymore and to have a proper emotional expression of their body and their feelings. And that means maybe 50% of their capacity is gone already and has to be redeveloped. It can be redeveloped, that is the good news, but it has to be done. Otherwise, these young people stay handicapped. They only use a small part of their potential. And they cut off every day their potential. And this is as well the way how they use the internet and the media. So here we worked with over 500 students in Assam in India on social, sustainable, circular solutions, and this project was the key for a project called Whiteboard. It is actually a project where we learned to unlearn, because it was happening in the COVID times, and young people had to unlearn things. They had to unlearn what they learned. In India, it is a principle. In other countries, it isn't. Go to a whiteboard and go empty. Be open to the learnings and the people who present, and develop proactively your path. The other examples are with youth. These are a group for youth, more an advocacy group. They work currently on a project in Kenya with the Maasai tribe for developing marketplaces on the internet, on Etsy and other groups, and developing crowdfunding campaigns for the production of handcraft. And at that point, they learn in that project, they learn all the leadership skills they need, and they are already in responsible functions and roles. This is a project when we say of how to adapt climate change, and how to adapt climate change is already something what I don't like, because you don't say you adapt symptoms of an illness. I think it should not be the objective. The objective is to forecast, and that is we went to Ghana. It can be everywhere else, as one of our honorable speakers said before. It is not only in Ghana, but that is where we've been. We've been in the Upper West region, and the youth analyzed their situation, and they did it with a really proper analysis. They went into the field, they analyzed the materials. We matched mentors to that, and they went as well into the field and cleaned it up, because they had to learn about smell, about hearing. They had to understand what happens if we burn waste, and why do we do that, and what happens to the atmosphere if we do this, what happens to my body, and they don't see it when they do it every day. So we talk about a habit change. And before I don't be aware, I can't change a habit. And that is actually the point when we talk about a change of customer, a change not of customer, of consuming, and we talk about how communities adapt, how youth adapt. That is the way to do. They have to feel it and to become engaged in what they are doing, and as well later on to understand that they have a voice. So stand up for your opinion and try to mobilize other people to do that and to understand what's happening. And first of all, learn profoundly, because they had no knowledge about the waste, and they had no knowledge about what is recyclable, what is not recyclable, and what are the effects of what they are daily doing. And that is not only them. So that is, you find it everywhere. I find it here in France, right around the corner at my house. I find it when people try to select waste. We went further in a second phase of the project, and we include always as well traditional ways of communication. So the kids like to sing, the kids like to dance, and they like poems. So we add this in the program to bring that closer to their communities and stay in that traditional way of celebrating, and as well of learning and understanding, expressing themselves. You see the cleanup. We come to the next level of that project, and that means we added international experts and wrote as well materials so that we become a lighthouse and can transfer these experiences to others. And later on they get a certificate. What they need today for other schools and for applying to companies or applying for scholarships, it is very important for them. But we never would do it if they wouldn't have any experiences in the field they take. We are nearly through. The next phases of this project was going back to tradition. We went to 3-4 other regions, worked again with over 1,000 youth in different schools, and matched them with the kids from the cities. And they learned about traditional methods of basket making and bags making, but they learned as well how to do it in an eco-friendly way and how to design in a social way. Means take not the product from a selling point. I can make a market. First of all, ask yourself, what is the convenience, what your target group needs, and how I can design it in a way that it is a real option. Very often people don't take the change because they don't have a proper option, so they stay with their habits. If you're not offering something what is really better than their old solution, they never go by the change. There is no intrinsic motivation. The brain won't take it. But if you have motivated people and the option is better what they do, then people try, and then they make the positive experience, and then the habit change. This is in every case like that. So we have been very, very successful. The kids developed their own first product line, and that is our Lighthouse project, now Youth for Circular Future. It is a platform, it is a community, and we have a virtual pathway. Kids can enter wherever they want. Mentors can enter wherever they want. They design their learning path, and they have materials. They learn while writing. They learn while connecting, and they can set up their projects wherever they want on the platform. So it's open for everybody to join, to become a mentor, to connect, and to have especially these learning pathways. They are very, very intelligent made, and have I never seen something like that. I'm so proud of my developer team, and especially we have one developer from Ghana, one from India. We have a team, and therefore we could afford it. We have 2 from Jamaica and Tobago. So otherwise we never would have developed something beautiful like this and foresighted like this if I wouldn't have created that team. And we see how important it is, because we talk about 75 million of young people in the age of 15 to 28. And we talk about 621 million young people in this age who are not in education, employment, or training. And that is now funny because 75 million young people are trained, but they have no job. Means, question is there no offer, or are they trained for the wrong job? And this is the point. Young people are today not trained for the jobs of the future because there wasn't any information. If you have today people who telling you they are consultants in circular economy or in the universities, where do they come from? They're not falling from the sky. They have to have experiences. There are not many of them. So of course they don't find a job. How do they? And this is something I think where we all have a responsibility. And as long as we don't give them an open chance to enter first quality education and possibilities, and the platform is hopefully one option in that, how do they learn? On YouTube? How do they decide it is a source what is reliable? How do they go beyond if they don't have anybody who gives them a little hint and take them for a while in the hand and guides them a little bit or pathfinds them without influencing? How do they learn that? In school they don't. So this is a little bit, you can visit the website, you can register, and you see we start now new programs with augmented learnings to translate the experiences what we have in the field in this new way. And we try to involve technology as far as we can, as far as it makes sense, because I see it as a driver and a chance, but it's not the solution for me. It is a driver. And I appreciate very much that the kids in the areas where we are still read and write. In Europe, they don't. And so they cut themselves as well here of a high part of their capacities. So if we see the trillion market of circular economy and we see the youth and the youth potential, what is not matching, then we know what we have to do. I don't have to be a mathematician to see and to explain that to you. You understand it easily. And yeah, whenever here you see how it works in the topics, you see the mentors, and it can be even start in the field. So we are really hybrid. Join us, support us. Everybody is welcome, and take it as an open source. That was once an idea what was very precious, the idea of open source and sharing. And I thank you for your time, and I hope I could give you some insights in a way what woke you up a little bit. And yeah, I thank you very much.